Hey there, how on earth are you doing? Hope you're doing great. I am having a pretty decent day. It is not a sunny day today, and I was really hoping that on my day off it would be a fantastic summer day, but it's kind of a gloomy day and it's cold and it's not really kind of the sit outside and chill out kind of day. Anyhow, you're here, I'm here. How the heck are you doing? Tell me below. If you're talking to the screen, unlike me right now, I can't hear you. So what I'd like to talk about is something called non-doing. Unlike Yoda's famous saying, do or do not, there is no try, there's this type of practice, kind of a, in Buddhism, in Zen, you call them skillful means. And it's called non-doing. And you actually practice stilling the mind, calming it right down, and practicing not doing anything. Actually, that sounds like you're doing something. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's quite a conundrum. But what it actually is getting yourself into a state of, I wouldn't say inaction, but it's non-doing. Unlike my dog right now that's barking. That is doing. Non-doing, it means kind of disengaging your thinking mind. And I know that's kind of tough. But in terms of your art, whatever that is, it's actually not so hard. Sometimes I'll, grab my violin and I will just kind of let go and just sit there playing some double stops. It's like chords. It's two strings at the same time. And I'll just play it over and over again, just kind of chilling out and letting it go. And in my painting, I do it a lot. And I'll just kind of lull myself into this, I think of it as like a low state. And I just kind of flow with the paint and flow with the vibe and flow with the page and the brush and let the colors come out. And I think it's a really useful practice, actually. The folks that really dig the neurographic art, it's very similar like that. And I know you might be thinking, oh, that's not so easy. Give me something easy to do. Well, what I'd recommend is you just kind of chill out, get your paintbrush, and just let the colors come out. Don't even think about it. Maybe you put on the headphones. Maybe you put on some ambient music. Maybe you actually go into a room that has no sounds and no distractions. And just see what comes out. It's a great practice, and it's a great way of training, and it's a type of meditation that teaches us to let go. And in this day and age, and probably any day and age, learning to let go is actually a really great thing. So how do we do it? What Pocket would recommend is literally just try and keep at it, keep practicing at it. Let your mind soften. Let your thoughts go. When you see thoughts come up, just let them go. Disengage with the need to think. And disengage with the need to paint. Disengage with the need to create. Disengage with all of those things that we cling to, We walk through our lives with this kind of grasping. And non-doing is the opposite of grasping. It is a great, great practice. What I do is often I'll just sit in the backyard, turn off any music that might be on, and just let my brain soften. That's the best way to describe it. And I try to disengage from using concepts. So, for instance, if I was, say, looking at this book, instead of recognizing it as a book, I would maybe try to not even recognize it. So instead of labels, you see shapes and color, and that's it. And you force yourself into that strange, almost altered state of reality. And when you're done with that kind of practice, you have this very, very, very cool sense of calm. And you have this different view of yourself. Because you start to realize that there's a whole lot more going on than that thinking mind, that monkey mind that is sitting on your shoulders, chattering and shaking you by the ears, making you do this, that, and the other thing. So, non-doing. I don't think that cat is doing non-doing, but it could be. Those two dogs definitely are not practicing non-doing. I don't know what seals are doing ever, but that could be non-doing, or it could be something I don't even know. It could be seal swearing. When it comes to painting with non-doing, just choose a color and start. And don't even think, just get that stuff going, man. It doesn't have to be pretty. Maybe I think what's happening all by itself is organic and cool. It looks like I don't know, creating. That's what I'm doing. And I don't get hung up by it. Just putting colors down in a nice way, as in down on the page. I would never put a color down. Colors are my friends. See, I'm not thinking. Now, I wouldn't be talking normally if I'm doing this, but you're here. So we have to do what we have to do. And I like to do the old mash. Mashing colors is fun. How about some purple? And lately I've not only been mashing, but I'm really liking to get these colors bleeding. It sounds really violent now that I'm thinking about it, but it's mashing and bleeding. Sounds like an episode of Game of Thrones. Oh, and there's some white in there. Maybe I'll just leave that all by itself. See, and sometimes they join together and become something else. The big thing with this is just to let go. Let what happens come out. Just be one with the process. Relax into it. Because creation is something that is about evolution. Creation it's an intimate thing. It's a thing that's happening. It's not something that is finished, right? It's something that's growing. And I know it looks like a big old mess, but it's actually kind of fun. You know what this way of doing something reminds me of? Is being a kid. When you're a kid, you'd take your fingers and mash them into the paint and just get at it. And there's something pretty awesome about that. You weren't caught up in, what's someone gonna think? You were just caught up in creating. And I'll tell you something, at the end of the day, what matters the most is creating. The rest doesn't matter at all. I might just leave the other side like that. I don't know. I don't know. Just kind of listen to the page and what it's asking me. It sounds kind of weird because, you know, I don't usually talk to the page. But in this case, it is a conversation. And then what I like to do is kind of just go over it again. Just get at it. Amplify things a little bit. Make them a little bit different and chaotic, maybe. Make them a little bit more alive, maybe. See what happens. You know what? End of the day, I don't think it really matters too much. End of the day, what matters is you're doing something. And is it gonna look like the same thing every time? Nope. It's gonna look very different every time you do something. This is kind of fun. I'm glad I decided to do this. You know what this is reminding me of is like one of those, what do they call them? Ink blot tests? I'm not sure what it's called. It's when someone shows you something and you're supposed to tell them what it reminds you of. Well, in this case, you can just say, oh, it reminds me of my art. And then maybe grab a different kind of pen. And then maybe fill in some of these. Like I said, just kind of let your brain go. Non-doing. Just let the paintbrush do its thing. Let it take care of itself and you take care of yourself. Actually, don't even think about taking care of anything. For the first time in your life, maybe this is just you letting go, not thinking, not doing. Oh man, it's crazy. I love it. Looks like some out in space nebula. It's right pocket. It's fun. Then you end up with something that spontaneously was birthed on your page. You know? That is not a terrible thing. And you're expressing yourself. You're letting stuff out that's in. And that's kind of the gist of it. You can add some more shapes in there. You can do whatever you want. You can add some words on there. You can write non-doing across the whole thing if that's your thing. But more than anything, you're just learning to let go. You're learning to see what's inside of you. Without all of the attachments to it. That's kind of a fun thing. There you have it. Non-doing. It doesn't have to be something that, I mean, your art doesn't have to be something that resembles much. I mean, that was fun. It was letting go. It was just letting the paint come out and apparently go all over my own self, and expressing yourself. So try not to put so much on you. Try not to think so much. Try not to do so much. Try to take moments where you just let go. And you can do it with your paint, or like I said, you can do it just sitting outside, letting the concepts go and just being. At the end of the day, we are human beings. We're not human doings. And I think we forget that sometimes. And I think that some of the best moments we have are perfect moments where we just appreciate being alive and in the moment. Anyhow, I just started earlier today, this morning, actually, decided I was going to learn how to play on my violin Across the Universe, because it's kind of a really nice song. I really like it, always have. And it's by some unknown British band. And I thought it might be neat for you to see what it's like when I am literally playing a song for the first time. And I'm reading that music and trying to get things right and stumbling along the way. But anyhow, this is kind of what it sounds like. I'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe and say hello and all the rest. I'll talk to you next time.